Yo, what's up YouTube? I'm going to the ABR festival next week and taking my little EXC-F. And so before I go, I don't want my weekend being spoilt by anything silly, so I'm just going to do some real basic maintenance things. So I'm going to clean the chain, set the chain tension. I'm going to change the oil filter, change the air filter. So look, got to say, first thing I need is to clean the chain. Paraffin, perfect for cleaning chains with. So I'm going to pour some paraffin into an old coffee jar, and I'm going to use crappy old chain brush to give it a bit of a scrub. I'll clean it through a few times. Once I've done that, I'll dry the chain off with an old rag, give it a wipe over maybe with a bit of WD-40 or something, and then put a bit of lube on it. So yeah, stick with me. Take your time. It's a little bit messy. I'll probably wash the bike all over after I've done all my servicing. Yeah, just on a couple of links at a time. Slowly work your way around. Um, At the moment, the way I'm cleaning it is I'm just getting on the side plates, really, and the tops of the rollers. I'll move the brush to a different position in a bit, and catch the chain from a different angle. But if you have a look at this paraffin, you see it's already taking quite a bit of dirt off. And I clean my chain quite often, so. So now I'm going to clean the chain. I want to be getting in the links kind of at this angle. I'm not going to do it from the top because it'll all run through. I'm going to clean down at the bottom here under the swing arm. So just leave that up a bit. Give it a dunk. Give the chain a good scrub. Give that a little wipe. Oh, give that a little wipe down with some blue roll and have a look what it looks like. It's not looking too bad. Now you'll notice, I hope, that I'm turning the wheel by hand. Never ever clean your chain with the engine running, never. No matter how much of a shortcut you think you do, how much, if you've not got enough time to do your chain by hand, just don't do it, but never ever do it with the engine running. I'm also turning the wheel so the chain runs away from the cog, not towards it where my hand is, because I don't want to pull my fingers into the cog. So I'm going to give this a rinse through now with WD-40 as well, just to push the paraffin out. You don't really have to do it, you could just leave it to dry, but I'm going to do that, rinse it through the WD-40, wipe that off, let that dry, check the chain tension, and then I'll lube the chain. Oh, right, my chain tension, while the bike's completely up on a stand and the swing arm's hanging a full extension, my the slack on my chain tension here from my swing arm to the top of the chain, sorry, to the underside of the chain, should be 55 to 58 mil on my bike. It might be different on yours. What I've done is cut a little piece of wood, and this is actually only 50 mil long because this swing arm guard's about 5 mil thick. So all I do is I lift my chain up and I put this under the chain, and if my chain's nice and tight, then I know the tension's okay. If when I put that block under there, there's still a lot of slack in the chain, then I know I need to pull my chain back. But I did that recently, and as you can see, there's not really any play in that chain, so that's fine. No need to do anything. Oh, now when you lube your chain, what am I using? I'm using my bike's a KTM, but I'm using Kawasaki high-speed chain lube. When you lube your chain, it's always good to put a bit of card or a bit of rag behind your chain, wherever you spray it, just so you don't get chain lube all over your wheel and so on and so forth. I'm going to tuck mine through here and up here, so it sits behind the chain, but over the swing arm and over the tyre. So I'm just going to use a bit of cardboard, fold it like so, and I'll pull that up through there, and then I've got a little space here I can work on it. Doesn't take long. This chain lube smells nice as well. It smells like bananas. I made it nice and red so it's easy to see. And that's it. In fact, I'll fold that around the chain. Yeah, put some of that lube back on the chain rather than in the bin. So that, my friends, was cleaning and oiling a chain. You might do it differently. You might tell me I'm doing it wrong. I don't care. It works. And now I'm going to show you how to change your air filter. It's really easy, really easy. And so many people don't do it. I normally, with my air filters, well, look, I'll show you. Here's a couple of air filters, and I normally wash and clean. I've got three, and I normally wash and clean them all in one go. Wash them, dry them, re-oil them all in one go. And the reason I do that is it's a bit of a chore washing and cleaning air filters. It's a bit messy, but because I do them in one hit, it means I've got two here now that have already been done. It's just as much work to clean one as it is to clean three. So I've got two here now. So I'll take the dirty one out, clip one of these ones in, and that's it. Literally 60-second job. Take off your air filter cover. Unpop your tab. Lift it out. Now, I'll put that dirty filter and the frame. I'm just going to put that somewhere on a bit of blue roll for a moment. Give that air box a good wipe out. Take the old dirty air filter off. Should we just unclip? There. Again, a quick spray of brake cleaner. Just want to make sure it's really clean. And then once I've got that clean, take one of the clean air filters. Here's what it is. These have been pre-oiled. So I hook that back over. Takes a bit of a stretch. There we go. Come on, am I making this look fiddly? Am I making this look fiddly? So make sure that's all stretched into place properly. Nice and even all the way around. A bit more of a pull on this side. That's that. Some little tabs inside to put the sponge on. Then all I'm going to do, put grease around this edge before I clip it back in. And I use this stuff, corrosion block waterproof grease. I'm not using it for the corrosion block, obviously everything's plastic, but just for the waterproofing of it. So I take that and I wipe it all the way around the edge that's going to come into contact with the airbox. All that grease is going to do, capture any dust that tries to squeeze in down the sides. Look, bit messy. You have to wipe your hands, wash your hands after. Probably should have gloves on, but hey. Fingers a wipe. So that goes back in like so. Make sure it's sitting nice and firm, and then it goes back in. That's that bad boy ready to go. Just the oil now. So I'm going to run the bike for 5-10 minutes to warm the engine up, probably only 5 minutes, and then we'll drain the oil. So while that bike's warming up in the background, I'm going to tidy up all my other stuff. Just get rid of all the blue roll and crap that I've just been using for that cleaning, the chain and air filter. I'm going to get my new oil filter ready. I'm going to get a bowl to catch all the hot oil in. I'm going to pre-measure my oil. It takes about 1 litre. Actually, I find if you use the exact amount, it says it normally overfills a little bit, because I think some oil stays in the bike hidden somewhere from the last oil change. So always worth checking in the sight glass afterwards to make sure you get it that sort of halfway point, not too much, not too little. Yeah, and I'm going to use a torque wrench on all my little bolts because they are only tiny. So at the front where the oil filter is, 10 Newton meters, where the oil, like the gauze filter, 15 Newton meters, and the drain plug is 20 Newton meters. So yeah, we'll do that in a moment. Old bowl to catch your oil. Get the bike off the stand. Kelly. Right, guys. Oh, now the sump bolt is here, but it will spray out the back here, so you want to make sure you've got your bowl kind of set like this. When I loosen this, you're going to want to jump out, burn my hand. So I always get a bit of blue roll ready. Move quick. Yes. There you go. Doesn't look too bad actually. At least I can see through it. It's quite dark, but it's been in there. I don't know. Maybe 15 hours. Now that's framed, move the bowl all the way forward. I'm going to take my air filter out, so I'm just going to run down here as well. I always like to clean my part as I take them off. So like my sump bolt, give it a little wipe. Check there's no major chunks of metal hanging off the thing, which obviously there shouldn't be. You do sometimes get like a little bit of metal dust, just from general wear and tear. Not much. If you get a lot, get your bike checked. Trying to see if I can. No. There's any bits, but I tend to take parts off, give them a blast with brake cleaner, and then that can sit on my tray ready to go back in with a new compression washer. Always use a new one, they cost nothing. You can buy copper or aluminium ones, it doesn't matter. I buy like 30 or 50 a time off the internet, and you'll buy them once every 3 or 4 years. So that can go in the bin. So yeah, just I've got a whole bag of these things. So I'll drop the new one on and stick it on the bolt before I forget. Oil screen. That's the word I was trying to think of. Oil screen earlier, not oil filter. Oil screen. 15 Newton meters to do up. Yeah. They all seem tighter than those stock torque settings I'm telling you when I'm undoing it, but I think it's because the engine's been running and it's hot. So there's the oil screen, more oil coming out, only a little bit. And again, it's worth inspecting this just to see what is captured, if anything. Oh, that looks good. Again, just give them up clean. Both part, the plug and the screen. Leave them there to dry out. And then last but not least, the oil filter itself. You need a pair of long nose pliers just to tweak this filter out. One bolt, two bolts, cover, leave that for a minute now, let the last bits of oil drain out. But while I wait, clean. Check the bolts. And with these, you put them in, pull them outwards to grip this inside part of the filter, and out it comes. Easy. I like to give the bike a bit of a lean now. And while those last few drips of oil come out, I'm going to measure the new oil in a measuring jug, 1 litre. I think it's 1 litre. I'll double check in the book. It's either 1 or 1.1, but check in your own manual anyway. But I'm going to put a litre in a jug. And then we'll top that up in a minute. With my jug, I put a bit of tape on it so I know where to fill up to with my oil. My eyes aren't brilliant, so just so I don't make a mistake, use a little funnel, but you can see it's a bit dirty inside, so first thing to do is make sure that's nice and clean before I put any clean oil in it. Otherwise I'll be pouring dirt straight into my engine. So the good old blue roll. Make sure my funnel is nice and clean. And again, I always give that a little blast over, leave it to dry. It's the last bit of old oil. From last time I filled it up. It's my jug. all my jug nice and clean as well. So there's my oil. Before we put that in though, let's get the sump bolt back in. Otherwise the oil's just going to pour straight back out. So let's get that in. Now that's got to be torqued to 20 Newton meters. And awkwardly, there's a crossbar of the frame right behind this bolt. It's nigh on impossible to get a torque wrench in. 20 Newton meters isn't a lot. So what I tend to do is do it up literally finger tight. Take my 13mm ring spanner, put it on, and just give it a little tight turn, and that's it. Carry one of these with me anyway, anytime I'm trail riding in my toolkit. So if I notice a drip and it needs another little tweak, I can always do that. Never have needed to yet. So yeah, just a little tweak. Don't need to, once you do it up hand tight, don't need to pull it more than, crikey, literally this much. Feel the resistance straight away, don't over tighten it. Now the screen goes back in this hole and it mounts onto a little post at the end. You can line it up and push it with your finger, you feel it suddenly knock onto place. It fits on the inside of this plug. So that goes back in, and again we just do that up tight by hand. That needs to be torqued to 15 Newton meters, and I have got a torque wrench for that, so I'll tighten that in a moment. Let's go and get it. Here we go, 15 Newton meters on. Side. Right, feel that, just stop at that point and then 15 Newton meters. Now, when we put the oil filter in, we need to lean the bike over on its side that way, not all the way flat, but quite far down. I use my paddock stand to lean the handlebar on. So just bear with me while I do that. Should have lined that up before I started. So yeah, I like to pour a bit of oil in first, just a little bit. And then I take my oil filter, gently seat that in, push it, make sure it sits, and then I top it up with a little bit more oil while the filter's in. Just watch it soak in. Actually spilled over, so it's more than enough in there. Don't need to pour a bit of oil in afterwards, you just pour a bit into the oil filter and push it in. I don't know, I just like the idea of pouring a bit in on the top of it as well. Take the cover, flop it back on. Take the 2 bolts, Put them in by hand. Now these need tightening up to 10 Newton meters. So I'll adjust my torque wrench back down. Whoop. 10. Give them a little clunk. 1. 1. While I've got the bike on the side, I just like to whiz around all the other bolts the same size as well, because they're all 10 Newton meters. Put the fuel filler cap in. Top the oil up. Top the oil up. Put the fuel filler cap in. So I've got my oil. Make sure that's nice and clean. I like to use a funnel. It's easy to overfill your oil. So I always like to keep a little bit. Then I'm going to put the filler plug in, run the bike for 30 seconds, let it settle, top it up, let it settle, top it up, etc. Till I know it's bang on halfway up that window. And then we'll just let that settle a minute. And while I do, I'll tidy up a few more bits of rags and stuff. So let's stand the bike up straight and see where that's got to. We're looking down here. Right, move that brake out of the way. Right on that bottom edge. If I rock the bike, I can just see the oil starting to show. So put a little bit more in. And then we'll wait 30 seconds. Nearly there. That's looking cock on now, but I'm going to run the bike again for 30 seconds and then let it settle and just double check before I roll the bike into the garage ready for ABR next week. So yeah, that's perfect. It's sitting exactly halfway up the little circle in my oil window. This is what I meant. This is pre-measured, but this is what I meant about how it's easy to overfill. If I put that in, now it doesn't seem much, but the bike only holds a litre. If I put that in, it'll be overfilled, which is what I do sometimes by accident. I thought I'd use it pre-measured in a jug to stop that happening. Found out it still does a little bit, so maybe the jug's off. Who knows? Yeah, that's cock on. So that's it. Oh, one last thing. While you've got your bike out, and while you've got your... Oh, let me put that back on the stand. While you've got your bike out, while you've got your blue roll out, it's worth giving your forks a bounce and giving them a wipe with clean blue roll, just to check there's no oil leaking onto your fork tube. So I'll just do that, and then this is ready to go. Just give it a little... Nope. No. And there you go. That's it. Super basic little service checks you should do before you go on a weekend you're really looking forward to, because if it's spoilt with a dirty oil filter, or with a broken chain, or because you've run out of oil, or any of those sort of things, you'll kick yourself for not doing these checks first. They don't take long. In honesty, I've probably been out here about an hour today. Probably could have been made it half an hour, 45 minutes if I'd been a bit more organised. But there you go. Hope it's useful, and see you all again soon.